Welcome to the Discord live stream, everybody. With the volatility over the past 24 hours, it feels like a good day to take a quick look at market conditions, kind of what I'm seeing in the charts, see what the MDX ALGO indicators are saying on a few different time frames, go over some strategies I like to use when scalping and that kind of thing. So, like I said, feel free to ask any questions about my indicator settings, the features with the indicators, questions in general. I'll do my best to answer them. But yeah, just gonna hop right into taking a look at Bitcoin here. This is my 4-hour chart here, and I've been quite vocal over the past couple weeks that I'm not really willing to flip bearish unless we drop my green support box here. My reason for that is just as far as basic market structure goes, we are still in an uptrend here with this swing. We had this high here. You can see I still have them outlined from last stream here. We had this high, and then we actually set a higher high, actually getting candle body closes above this wick back here. And since we're already in an uptrend, our lowest point between the high and the higher high is down here. So that's the line in the sand for me. Obviously, we could just end up getting a little fake out wick below, and that would totally be fine. If we get some kind of a swing fail there, I mean, that could be a very juicy bullish long position to get into. If we do get some kind of a failed break of this level and then reclaim that support, that would be absolutely beautiful. But if we start closing, even an hourly candle, but more importantly, like a 4-hourly candle below this level, that's when things start to get a little scary for me. I don't know. That's where I would start to think I shouldn't even say scary, just more of a bearish bias at that point for the short term. I'd be considering the fact that this structure may be changing, and even if we do, at that point, if we get candle bodies closing below this level, that's where I'd be looking for some kind of a bounce, either kind of flipping that support into resistance for a short, or even a bounce up a little bit higher and kind of getting back up to these levels. At that point, with this change in structure, that this could be a juicy short opportunity if we get some kind of bearish divergence, stuff like that. But as it stands right now, I've been basically since we got this pump back here. Actually, here's a perfect example. I was looking at the exact same structure, and yes, as we came back towards the green box, it did look like that support was not really gonna hold anymore. Like when you get a big engulfing candle like this, I mean, yeah, it looks like momentum has shifted there, and it looked like we were gonna retest some much lower levels. But we just ended up finding support at this green box because, again, this was our confirmed higher low. We had our high here, we had a higher high here, lowest point between the two was here, so that wick was kind of my support level. Just looking at the exact same thing with this range right here, it does not have to play out the same. But it's just something to be aware of, and that's just kind of the way I trade. I like to trade the trend of, basically just where the trend is going. Yes, this absolutely was a beautiful swing fail as well on the bearish scenario there, because we obviously just got our little wick at our resistance of this range and never really made anything of that. So yeah, there is some bearish momentum here, so it is good to at least be aware that if this level breaks, I mean, things could get quite volatile, even juicy to the downside. But as it stands right now, I just can't shake my bullish bias until we actually change the structure of the chart. Yes, that means I'm not getting into a short way up here, any of these higher levels, but I'm not really going for a reversal in this case. I'm more of a scalper personally, and I'll just change my bias at that point where I'd be looking more seriously at taking shorts at that point. But like I said, as it stands right now, we have a higher low confirmed here. This green box is the support that I'm watching. So that's what led me to take a position this morning. Maybe you guys saw in the MDX Crypto's VIP Discord there that I had posted in the signals that I was building along. And that was at this blue dotted line down here. We actually just came very close to it again. But my reasoning for that was we just came so close to this green box. I mean, this is zoomed right into a 1-minute chart. And as you know, that's a 4-hour chart that I'm looking at that support level. So really just zooming in, looking for a closer entry to find along. And since we got so close to this green box and got this reversal warning, that's basically where I ended up taking my long position. I don't really like setting blind orders. I like to be watching the chart, seeing how levels are being reacted with before I actually enter a position. And this was one of those times that, as we started getting down closer to this level, I'll usually set alarms close to levels of interest so I can just kind of prepare myself. And I was basically just looking to see how this green box would be reacted with. And there's also a little bit of wiggle room there since it is a 4-hour chart. I'm looking at a 1-minute chart. So when I got this W, I was thinking, I can at least start laddering in some kind of a position. So I entered there and we just kind of took off to the upside. You can even see that there was this little bit of a change in structure, right? I mean, if you really microanalyze things here, we did have a low, lower low. This technically would have been our lower high at that point, and we broke that level, reclaimed it as support, and off to the races from there. So we also had that confirmed structure break here, and that's basically what I'm looking at on the 4-hour, right, you guys? Is basically just that since we have that break in structure, yes, that can change. Yes, it's taken a while to play out, so maybe we're losing that momentum, but until that structure changes, I'm hanging on to a bullish bias for my scalping. I had been taking some profits along the way. I ended up closing half of my position. A quarter of it was near this third, I think it was 33.80. It was kind of right up in this cluster over here. I closed a quarter of my position, and I had mentioned in the signals group there that if we got a candle body close below this, just this very micro swing to the upside here, if we lost that higher low, and again, high, higher high, higher low, if we lost that and we had a candle body close below that, I was going to close another quarter of my position. So I only have half of my position running right now. And I'm just kind of leaving my stop loss down below this green box because that's the area that I'm looking at. I may change that later. I might end up updating my stop loss right away. I'll let you guys know if I do. And I would just look to re-enter as we get into that green box. If we get in here and on these shorter time frames, we set, let's say, double bottoms, bullish divergences, indicators are kind of hinting at long signals. That's where I would be interested in taking a new long position if we get down here. But actually, as it stands right now, I am going to update my stop loss to break even on the rest of my position. Just because I am going to be a little bit sidetracked here doing this video and whatnot, this stream with you guys. So I'm going to do that to protect myself. I can always re-enter a little bit lower. And that way I just guarantee that, I did take some nice profits on this trade. And let's just take a win while we have one, right? So yeah, so that's basically what I'm looking at on the 4-hour, you guys. Ever since we broke out of this falling wedge, I mean, I've been quite bullish. Really, even since we got, I believe it was this high right here, I had pointed out to watch for a third rejection on this trend line, and when we got it, that's where I was really confirming that this pattern was valid, in my opinion. I generally don't take a pattern all too serious until it has 3 exact rejection points along some trend lines. And that's just kind of what also gave me a bit of a bullish bias when we started trading with this upswing. We had this little failed break of the support of the wedge, and then we just kind of got that move. So I'm just kind of right now just playing the momentum. We're going to see what happens here. If we end up breaking out from this level, what are some targets we can start looking at? We do technically still have this potential resistance right above us. It is good to be a little bit cautious that, we do still have that. Just make it red so it's easier to notice there. But at the end of the day, you guys, another reason I can't shake my bias feeling, and honestly, it would take quite a bit to invalidate this at this point. I would want to see a third touch point on this purple trend line and then some kind of a break, right? Because we don't have that third touch point yet. That's also what I'm looking for. If we get a harsh rejection here and we do come tumbling down, I'd be looking for a third touch point along this trend line that we have going for us. if we end up getting that third touch point and then breaking, getting closes, and kind of flip that support into resistance, I mean, that's where we can start targeting some much lower levels. But until that happens, I'm just kind of sticking with the uptrend for now. So I'm just playing with a bullish bias recently. I do just, and a lot of you guys in this group are well aware that I do tend to carry a little bit of a moon boy bias sometimes. And I just generally play the bullish side better. So I prefer longing the market. And even though we are at resistance here, it's good to be cautious. And that's why, like I said, I was taking profits on half my position very quickly. I'm treating it like a scalp. I'm very quick to get out of my position if I have to, just to protect myself. Because I am aware that, yes, even though I'm bullish right now, it is starting to look a little bit toppy, and I see the possibilities of a steeper correction. So got to be cautious of all scenarios. Just be vigilant of anything, because, I mean, at the end of the day, no one knows for sure what's going to happen. We just got to play our odds, and yeah, like I said, I'm just playing the momentum, playing the direction of the swing currently. So like I said, we drop this level, and I will be much more tempted to start scalping some shorts. Well, I said I was going to update my stop loss. I'm going to update it just into my green box around 29,822. I would take a very small loss on the remaining half of that position if it gets stopped out, but the profits I made up here will far counterbalance that. So but yeah, if we end up dropping into this box, for now I'm going to hope that the very top of it does act as support. But if we drop into it, that's where I'm going to start to look for more so candle body closes to start laddering back into my position. So that's my plan right now. Let me just update that. It's very possible I get stopped out on that second half of the position right away, but I don't want to update my stop loss just in case. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. If we get to 818 is my stop loss right now. That was close. But yeah, like I said, if I do get stopped out on that other half, I am just going to be looking for a new entry, because like I said, until that structure changes, I'm more favoring the long side still. Nicholas, welcome. Look at you making it on time today. How is well, for one, how's your campaigning going? And for two, what's everyone else's opinion on the market right now? Maybe before we get sidetracked with that whole situation, because I know how we get, Nicholas. Let's stick to the charts for now, but we will absolutely get into it. But what's everyone's opinion on the market right now? Are you guys bullish? Are you bearish? Anything in particular you're watching? Like, I've been pretty clear about the level I'm watching and why. Does anyone else disagree with me? That's totally fine if you do. I absolutely see the possibility of this double top kind of failed break situation here. But until we actually lose this swing structure, I'm just going to stick to my bias. One long, one dip buyer. Yeah, that's kind of my thing too, is I was doing a little spot buying as well, just because, I mean, this is a buy level. Even though it looks weak, support always looks weak until it acts as support. This candle could totally flip around, or the next one can be straight green moonshot. Unless we get a candle body closing below this, I mean, I just think it's a good buy level with this little correction here. So If we drop, yeah, my spot bags will be down, but you know what? The way I trade spot and the way I trade with leverage are two very different things. I'm totally more than comfortable buying these levels with spot. Short from that failed break today. Nice. That's a good entry. I saw a few people in the group caught that. I rode a very nice long overnight while I was sleeping, and I did take I took a good chunk of profits right at, what was it, 31.4. It was very close to the top. I never went short because I actually just happened to wake up at 2 in the morning while I was sleeping, and I saw the price and I just figured I should take some profits, so I did. And then when I woke up, I saw the market had nuked, so yeah, at least caught it on the other end. Bullish. Went long too early. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's a nice little touch on that green box. Once again, you guys, like, yeah, we could absolutely just dump right into it right now, but you can tell it's obviously an important level in the market. The market is trying to respect it, and that's zoomed right into a 1 minute. Let's see what the indicators are saying. We are starting, it looks like we're forming a rounding bottom with these W's. A lot of you are probably familiar with that W strategy I've been watching lately. It's been very nice at catching little scalps, and basically how it works is just looking at the direction of the W's. I mean, they have a very clear trend. When we have, you know, here we had a W and we had a very slightly lower W, and that was just an early warning sign that the trend may be shifting. Well, actually, here we can back right up to our bounce earlier today. See what we can find here. What I really like to find is where you have, like, let's say this, for example. So you have a W, you have a lower W, signifying that, hey, we might be taking a downward shift here, and then wait for that reversal on the top side. And that can quite often be a very good indication that basically a great entry. You can have a nice tight stop. I'd personally keep it above structure. But in that case, that was just a beautiful setup. And I really take these W's serious and which way they are trending, basically. Right now, they are still trending down. But what I would really like to see now is once we do get some kind of a pullback, if we could see a higher W come into play. Just basically confirming a higher low and just having the indicator kind of pointed out for you can be very nice, because it's just great to have another set of eyes on the chart. And I mean, yes, it's obvious when you're looking at it here. Yeah, it's very obvious that we got into this little micro downtrend here on the 1 minute. But I mean, just seeing that initial warning that, hey, things might be changing, right? Because up here, we were still in a bit of an uptrend here. I mean, here was kind of the same thing, right? We had a W, we had a higher W. I mean, just taking a snipe to the next reversal point, I mean, it can be a very powerful scalping strategy. I've seen it work on larger time frames as well. I've seen, Pete, I know you were pointing it out on the 1 hour when we got that big dump last week. So it's great to see that it does work on other time frames and that sort of thing. But like I said, I love scalping, so I've been using this as a scalping tool, just kind of helping me point out which way the trend is going. So right now, yes, I am basically fighting this trend by staying in my long here, but that's just because there's this 4 hour level that I'm so keen on, and I've been watching it ever since basically we closed this candle, because when we set that higher high there, or sorry, on the 4 hour, this is where I've basically had this support box outlined ever since. And that W strategy, although I really like it for scalping and it can point out very good entries, it's still important to have other things that you're watching in the charts, right? I mean, best case is just it's another tool for confluence Just another thing, adding confluence for your decision making. Very often when I have lost trades recently, it has been because I've been fighting which way these W's are trending and just thinking that I knew better. And almost every time it's bit me in the ass. So it's become a very important part of how I trade, quite honestly. Just looking for which way they're trending, finding a trade from there. So that entry point of dust was perfect, much better than my own, much higher. That rebounds. I never even saw where he entered. Was it? It was a long. Okay, yeah, I know he was holding a pretty strong bullish bias. Him and I had went long at the exact same time yesterday. We were talking about it. I know he has a very similar bias that I do currently. Nicholas been watching the 1 hour and 4 hour lately, and I think bullish. Yes, I would have to agree. If I was just looking for more of a scalp, just off that box, looking for the quick couple bucks there, I think right now that could potentially be a level of resistance here we get rejected, so I would consider taking profits. But this is one of those times I'm actually, like I said, since I already closed half anyways, I am looking at more of a runner with the rest of my positions. So I copy traded him and got a good long entry. Nice, nice. I got to meet up with that guy one of these days. We actually live very close to each other. Kind of funny. Small world. Yeah, it's struggling a little bit here. But like I said, I would really like to see us pull back and start seeing some higher lows formed with these W's. That would be a great thing. Do any of you guys have like certain strategies you use these indicators for? Do you mainly rely on the buy sell signals? Like as you can tell, I don't even usually have those signals up just because I like choosing my own entries. But if you want me to check anything, I absolutely can. The supply and demand. Yeah, that's actually a good one too. I mean, on the 1 minute, it gets pretty aggressive. Let's check some more reasonable time frames here. Bring that back up. And actually, I'm going to delete my own drawings here. And yeah, I mean, that's another thing going for the bearish scenario is that's a very clear demand zone that we have on the go here. Or sorry, supply zone. And basically, the thing I love about this supply and demand feature, especially on shorter time frames, like I don't always use it, but sometimes I do if I'm multitasking and, you know, only have this up on one monitor or whatever. The supply and demand boxes that this indicator maps out are very similar to how I map out my support and resistance, just with higher lows, lower highs, that kind of thing. So like I was talking about this resistance back here, and that's exactly where the supply zone is mapped out here. So yeah, quite often, like, these indicators have come such a long way from when I started using them about a year ago. Like, it's almost like you don't even have to chart anymore. These are just, it's crazy. Like, I don't use any other indicators anymore. I use the RSI from time to time just because I have a certain set of divergences I look for with double tops and double bottoms. But other than that, I don't use any other indicators. I just love these. So many different ways to look at it. But yeah, see, even the demand zone here is lining up perfectly with the bottom of this higher low that I was talking about. So it's beautiful to see when, you know, you have these indicators and their automation just lining up with your own analysis. That's just great confirmation. Bulls do take the stairs. Hope HNT. What kind of time frame are you thinking? Next 3 months. Ooh, oh man, that's a beautiful support it found down here. I mean, obviously it's pumped a little bit since then, but I just want to... just because that's how I typically map out a support box. Is I like to take the whole kill zone, or just the whole wicks of the bottom, wherever we bottomed out like that. I like to use that whole range as potential support, and man, it just wicked absolutely perfectly to the top of that and just exploded. Yeah, and you know, got a potential resist support flip on the little micro swing here. Yeah, you know, that could be in a decent position. I'd want to see if we do end up pulling back a little bit here with HNT. I would want to see how we react with this purple upward sloping trend line. Once again, I would like to see a third touch point. Like, even if we drop down below it right now all of a sudden, I wouldn't really take that too serious, and I would be considering it potentially a failed break or a fake out, just because we don't have that third perfect touch point yet. So definitely look for a fake out like that if it does drop that support. But yeah, I could see that being in a juicy position. What kind of fibs do we have here? We tested the 618. 618 held as support. Yeah, that's looking not so bad. Yeah, where is this thing? What's the top side? And whew. That could be quite the rounding bottom. Holy. Yeah, if that thing recovers, I mean, you might get a quick 20x out of that. If it's able to recover its all-time highs, obviously. Obviously doesn't have to happen. But it looks like it's in a decent position right now, if you ask me. Is MDX ALGO based on the same indicators, or does it have additional ones? Oh, the bot. I'm not sure, to be honest. I've never actually used the bot. I've never set that up, so I'm not positive. I'm guessing it trades based on structure breaks. I think, is it the 1 hour? I can't remember. I could be wrong. I don't want to say the wrong thing because I don't know for sure. Yeah, so far that yellow box on the old 1 minute is looking like a bit of resistance there. See if we do recover. As far as the longer term trend goes, you guys, like honestly, this range that I'm watching that I was talking about at the beginning, that is really until something changes with this. You guys know where I stand. I don't really have a heck of a lot else to say as far as the midterm goes, other than just seeing which way this range ends up breaking. But yeah, I'm basically going to hang out, can look at the old 1 minute, as I love getting into degen timeframes. But other than that, I mean, feel free to request things, different time frames, different altcoins, whatever. We're just here to hang out, have a good time, hop on the chat if you want, on the voice, whatever. Like I said, I can edit anything out if there is something we go over you don't want talked about. Just let me know. But yeah. Other than that, let's just see what the indicators say. See if they can call any potential scalps here. Actually, speaking of that, I am going to see what the trade setup is looking like. Let's just see what the indicator's looking at for scalps. It would have lost that one if it took it, or if we had taken it. I personally usually like to have a looser stop loss than what this trade setup feature uses. For example, I would be more thinking, since it would have tried to enter the long right here, I would have probably had my stop loss at least below our current swing low. But just for it to maintain that 3-to-1 risk reward, that's obviously where it chose. Like I said, I generally like to choose my own entries, but one thing, and I say this pretty much every video that I bring this up, one thing that I do really like, that let's say I was trading just specifically scalping the 1 minute right now, not looking for that longer play. I mean, this would just be a beautiful thing to have on your radar. Like I said, not so much me personally for my entries, just because I like to pick my own, but I love having something to remind me to take profits, because I'm sure a lot of you guys have already learned in this market that a lot of basically the hardest thing to do in trading is probably taking profits. I mean, it's not all that hard to get into a winning position, but to actually hang on to those profits and lock them in, that's something that people have a very hard time with, because we love to get greedy and we let that show in the markets quite a bit, and it leads to losses. So it's great to have this feature up just for really slapping you in the face with these take profits to make sure that you're doing that, because it's very easy to, you're in a winning position to start thinking that, hey, I'm the smartest man in the world or woman, and then you just end up getting wrecked because you try doubling down or tripling down, when in reality you should be starting to take profits at those levels instead. Should there be a W? I'm not sure. What are we at here? Just for this little swing? Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Tested the old 618 there. Oh, oh, I didn't even see Max in here. Just stopped by for a minute quick. Soho, that could just be because we're on different charts. This is the MEXC exchange chart, because that's what I trade on. So it is possible that, yes, the charts should be very similar, but sometimes they will get slightly different results. So that is always a possibility, especially on something like the 1 minute. That could vary quite drastically. And Pete, as far as the W's, sometimes the W's don't appear. Like, there's a chance that we just start trending higher and we don't even get a higher low confirmation. I have noticed that it's happened in the past, where all of a sudden you'll just start seeing them just the bearish ones setting higher highs, but you won't actually end up getting a higher low W. And you'll still have that warning that, hey, it's looking like it's trending to the upside, and that's great, but sometimes you do miss that other reversal that you're actually looking for. So just something to consider there. It doesn't always happen perfectly. I think back here was a good example of that. Well, even right here, we just kept setting lower lows on the W's, so it was, in fact, just stating that we were in a bit of a downtrend there, but we never did get a bearish one confirmation kind of a thing, to just for ease of easy entry kind of a thing. Never did happen, even though the warning was there. So sometimes that does happen. I mean, really, this whole dump, we obviously did have our lows setting lower lows. And then as soon as we got this W here, obviously that was a great sell signal, and we just trended to the downside. We only got these ones warning us that the trend was still to the downside, but we never got any on top. So yeah, it wasn't perfect, but absolutely it laid out a beautiful trend for us. So depending how you're looking at it, you just don't always get them on both sides is all. Okay, you're on BTC Tether, you are on MEXC, and you have a short signal on the 1 minute. Is it possible it's just because you have your settings different? Oops. Let me just bring up my settings. Is it possible you have swing selected rather than scalp? Or would it be possible... Would it be possible you have Hike and Ashi checked? That would change things as well. No, we're both on perpetual futures. Weird. I'm guessing it's a setting on your ALGO 3. That is interesting. Actually, do you have... Let me just see here. Do you have trend confluence or auto settings selected? Or filter? Any of these? That could also change those signals. Yeah, that's totally why then. When you have filter, it typically only shows you trades in one direction, basically the direction that the trend is heading. So obviously on the 1 minute, it has been a very bearish trend today. So you're probably mainly seeing shorts right now. Filter just gets rid of a lot of the chop, basically. Yeah, that would totally be why. I don't know, guys. I got a good feeling about this green box, even if we drop into it. I just... Like I said, the trend is your friend until the end, and as far as this current swing on the 4-hour goes, we are still holding that support, and even on the 1 minute, we are still obviously respecting it very well. Is MDX in here or not? I see him keep popping in and saying, "Oh, he's here," but weird. You're not showing up in the people there. See what the other, yeah, market flow. That's another one that I like to bring up. Just shows a general flow of the market. I'm just gonna start removing a few things just because I don't like having a cluttered chart. But yeah, market flow can be very useful as well, just showing the general flow of the market, just like it says. We do have on the oscillator 5, on again, just the 1 minute, but we do have this green cloud starting to try and form, the money flow cloud. So that's always good to see from a bullish perspective. On the 1 minute, obviously that can change very quickly, but yeah, that's good to see right now. And that's actually one thing that I want to look at here, just zooming way out to my more macro time frame here, you guys. One thing that led me to get very bullish on this market was that we got that signal on the weekly chart. That was back here, basically right as we ended up blowing up here. Ever since that, we saw the money flow on a weekly time frame flip green. That's a very, very important signal in this market. I mean, obviously, just look at the way the market has responded in the past here. I'm just going to actually remove some drawings just to clean things up here. And just look at in the past, you know, when we flipped red, obviously that's where our market just absolutely dumped from there. Last time we had the weekly flip green was back here, basically the start of our parabolic bull market. I mean, so many times, even just with this pump here very briefly, and down here when it flipped back red, we got a warning on the money flow here that we were going to get this COVID dump. It's just such a strong indicator there, just a strong tool. And I mean, just the fact that we changed this market structure, as I was talking about before with basic market structure, looking at it on the larger time frame, low, lower high, from that level. I mean, just look at that perfect resistance support flip on a macro level. I just think that's absolutely beautiful. We end up closing candle bodies below this line. Yeah, it could. Maybe then we start to tumble a little more. And honestly, that is quite a big tumble even to get down to those levels, obviously. But just as far as a macro time frame, I'm very bullish on this chart. Short term, anything can happen. But as far as the long term, I've got a good feeling about where this market is. I still do think if we end up testing up towards these levels, you guys know I've been talking about this for way too long, probably since November or December, whenever it was. I've been talking about this as potential resistance here. For one, obviously it is an important level of structure here. We found that harsh resistance there after our money flow flipped red. That's where we just dumped our whole bear market there. And on top of that, just looking at a swing high to swing low from a Fibonacci perspective, that's right around that 618 rejection. So in the past, I know a lot of you are probably very familiar with this. In the past, this has been where the market has loved to find basically its bull trap high. Basically where the bear market rally ends has generally speaking been that 618, or if not the bear market rally ending, just a very significant pullback at that level. Even here, when we finally tested that 618, this doesn't look like much, but that is a 40% dump to the downside. So generally, just past market cycles. Obviously doesn't have to happen again, but something to be aware of that it can happen. You know, when we were trading down at these levels, everyone thought that it was crazy that we were going to end up all the way up here so quickly as well. So all I'm saying is just keep it on your radar that it is a possibility that other market cycles have loved testing that 618 and getting a significant pullback. So if we do see that level in the near future, just be cautious, you guys. More than anything, more so than looking at it as a target for myself right now, I just want to keep talking about it so that I really keep this level on my radar, because I can't shake the feeling that if we get there, we're going to see a very violent pullback. And I just want to be ready for that. At least secure myself, just take whatever precautions I need to protect myself from the market. I'll never totally take all my exposure off the table or anything like that, but I will definitely be considering having a heavily bearish bias when we start approaching those levels. Any estimates? When do you guys think that we're gonna actually go parabolic again? Like, I'm not saying that I think our market cycle is gonna do anything like this anytime soon. I want to be very clear about this, that I do think if we end up testing these levels up here, we got to be cautious because violent pullback is in order, like I said. But yeah, as far as the timeline goes, I don't know. I can't really see us breaking new all-time highs this year, or, you know, I know a lot of people are probably throwing out some crazy targets, and honestly, my $48,000 target half a year ago sounded fucking ridiculous as well, so who am I to say if people have ridiculous targets or not? But I really can't help but feel we're in some sort of a bigger accumulation zone. That'll probably take a year or more to play out if I were to guess, but again, anything can happen. I just play the chart how it is. Just spot the trend and draw colorful lines and find out how the market reacts to those lines. That's basically the game of trading. Going down fast counts as parabolic. I'd say there's an inverse parabola. I'd go with that. Market flow on the 1 minute, trying to find a little support, struggling. I also want to watch this level. If we get some bullish looking candle closes and stuff like that in this yellow box, I would consider adding to my position again, just because, again, the stop loss is so tight on the rest of my position. Basically down here, 818. And even if I get wicked out there, if we close the candle bodies back in line with this, might consider it a bit of a failed break and re-enter my position if that's the case. Just to keep an eye on things. You know, I am actually going to loosen that right now real quick. Just a little bit. Just to go slightly lower than that 29.8. There, I'm done screwing with this position for now. Trying to get another W here. Obviously, it's not confirmed until the candle closes. I don't like that it's still lower than these ones. We're still setting lower lows with the reversal warnings. But what I do like is getting a double bottom in this support box from back here. Yeah, I was really hoping that W would be a little higher. Maybe I'll open a new little long here. I'm going to open another little one. Just a little guy. The price does look weak. I'm willing to accept that this scalp might not work out here, but just again, just looking at this green box here, as long as we hold the top of this green box, I would love to be in that long position. If we drop into this green box, that's kind of where I have to reassess. I still would like to look for long entries in here. Honestly, if we end up down here, I think it's an opportunity for a better long entry, but we'd also have to see how it reacts with these levels down here, right? And I mean, that's why I already have an alert set on this line down here. My phone is going to let me know every single minute until I pay attention to it, whether it's the middle of the night or not. That's the level that I am watching in this market. If we can get a failed break there, then yeah, I would love to enter along there again. But if we end up breaking that level, that's where I have to seriously consider switching up my bias. $15 closed below. See, I don't consider that a close below. I guess it depends what you look at. I take wicks into consideration. I wouldn't call it a failed break yet on the 15 because there's not a green candle here showing support. But I wouldn't say we closed below it. Yes, we have closes in here, but honestly, quite often I prefer that. I do agree it looks weak though. And here we go. Watch me get wicked out just perfectly. Yep, well, those positions are now both closed. One lost, the first one ended up good. But like I said, I'm still going to hold my bullish bias until we break this box. Yeah, that filter, that can be very powerful in a trending market like this. Like, since we are trending. Like, had I not been looking for this green box very specifically for such a long time, I would be much more into trading the downside because we have had this downtrend all day. But just since we are at this level that I'm very keen on with the 4 hour, I'm not going to shake my bias quite yet. money flow is red again. I still think it's probably an okay idea. I might just start laddering in small positions, getting bigger towards the bottom of this box, just to keep bringing my entry down. I am still interested in playing this, but it might have room to go yet. Yeah, if we end up dropping to that 29.5, I really do think that's the line in the sand, and I can't help but feel if we end up breaking it, it's going to end up just being a wick. But like I said, candle body closes below that, and I will heavily be considering a change in bias. I got one small order in. But yeah, most of my entry I want down here. Oops. When did I close my ALGO 3? When did that happen? Top of the the box is acting as potential resistance now. Yeah, where'd my ALGO 3 go? Show you the settings I use real quick. I've done this a million times, so it's pretty quick. I invert the colors, candle color, gradient 1, trend 1. I like to use a 5-minute for my trend 1, and trend 2, I use the 1 hour. Trend 1 is the volume weighted moving average. I just find it reacts a little faster. I like the moving average cloud. Signals I usually have turned off. Take profits. Reversal warnings, I always have those on. Tops and bottoms, that would be those little blue triangles that you see. Even the divergences, I usually don't have them up, but maybe I'll throw them up. And I think that is how I typically have. One thing to mention, you guys, actually I forgot to mention earlier. For those of you who are new, notice my candles look a little bit funny right now. They're just not super crisp, clear. Just right click on any of the signals or just hit the 3 dots and change your visual order, bring to front. That just really cleans things up so the color's a lot more, just a lot sharper. And then also right click over here and have scale price chart only checked. Those are 2 things. If you're having any visual issues or anything like that, chances are it's just something like that. So I do like that we have this W in our green box as well as a bullish pivot on the oscillator 4 up here. Clean things up a little bit. That little entry that I started was at 29,799 is the average price that ended up going. But like I said, I'm starting with a very small position here because I would really like to more so bring my average entry down if we get down to these levels. I see the potential of support coming in any time in this green box, so that's kind of why I want a little bit of exposure, but I definitely see reason why we could dump lower. And also, I see the reason why this could end up just dropping because it does look weak. So I don't want to go too crazy at this level. Even though I'm bullish on it, I just, this is a little bit of a drop to the downside yet if we do drop these levels. So I just don't want to go too crazy on position sizing right now. Until we get down to these levels, obviously. But yeah, like I was saying, guys, when I'm looking at these important levels, oh, did I erase my? I don't know why my alert turned off, but yeah, once per minute. I usually have my alerts set for these important levels because, like I said, I might end up falling asleep on the couch or going to bed and this move hasn't happened yet or something, and we end up getting some kind of a failed break. Well, in that case, I just got to get my ass out of bed and pay attention to what my phone is telling me. That's just something that I'm willing to do. It's not for everybody, but I'm willing to do it, so... High block shows a lot of long liquidity delta. That usually restricts all too much downside. Okay, I don't have a ton of experience using high blocks, heat maps, all that kind of stuff. I'll take your word for it. Anyone have anything else specifically you want to go over? Like I said, I'm just basically watching the 1 minute for now. We're going to see what happens. I'll probably wrap up the stream fairly soon because these do take quite a while to upload if they get too long. But even if I end up stopping the stream, I can always just stay and chat and stuff while things are uploading. Nicholas has the right idea over there. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, I mean, being I lost that little scalp there too. I'm glad I was taking profits up here when we had that pump this morning. And honestly, that's just because, although I was bullish, I also understand that, yes, we've been in a downtrend. So that's why I was willing to lock some in earlier this morning. And that played out in my favor because it obviously protected me. But generally, like I said, I am more of a scalper than a swing trader. So when I get into a winning position like this, I am quick to close a quarter or half my position or whatever and try and catch a runner with the rest because that way, if all hell breaks loose, you can still make a profit even if you're wrong just because you're taking profits along the way, updating your stop loss, that kind of thing. But yeah, still having that exposure if the trade keeps going for you. Yes, you won't have as much profits, but like I said, it's easy to get greedy and miss out on profits altogether. So that's just why I'm quick to usually to start taking profits. and letting the rest run, like I said, because I've had 1 minute scalps turn into beautiful looking trades on a 4-hour chart, and when that happens, that's a runner that you don't want to be taking profits on the whole position all too quick, right? Exactly. You can't make money until you take profit. Like, honestly, as far as a scalper goes, I should probably be taking profits here already just because we're coming up to this potential resistance here. Normally, if we weren't right at this 4-hour level, I would be looking at taking a bunch of profits right now and adjusting my stop loss to probably just below this yellow box, just because we reclaimed it. Obviously, that's this support we had back here. We lost it, but then we ended up getting right back above it. So I would want to see that level hold from a scalp point of view. But obviously, I'm looking at a little bit longer of a position out of this one. We're also coming up to that 5-minute moving average. Maybe I should lock in a little bit. How reliable is that regular at the bottom on the 15-minute? Ooh, see, there's that nice failed break. Well, I'm going to consider it a failed break. So like I said, we never did get a candle body closing below that level. In fact, our candle bodies just closed right along this wick level here. The regular at the bottom on the 15-minute. Which regular? Oh, the reversal? Or... Oh, yeah. I forgot I even had those turned on. That's funny. To be honest, I haven't done a ton of back testing with these divergences. Usually I don't even have them on my chart just because they cover up the letters on my W. I don't know, just me personally, I don't use them too often. I have seen them be very accurate. I've seen them provide great confluence in the past. I just keep my charts so clear. There's just very few signals that I actually look at. And that basically comes down to a back testing thing. I just haven't used this signal all too often, so I don't know how accurate it is. I haven't back tested it at all. I'd say it's a strong signal, though. I think it has like 5 different things, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I thought it automatically brought something up if I just hovered over it. Ledge on day. You made it. I often count something like that as a swing fail. That just looks like a failed break to me because, yeah, there's not an actual close below my blue line here. So I'm considering it a failed break. I am not... I don't play those as much as someone like Kieran, for example. He probably has stricter guidelines or stricter confluences that he wants in place, perhaps. But the way I look at it, I'm looking at it as a bit of a failed break myself. It would be better if, you know, if it had a couple touch points and then did that. I would like it a little more. But as far as it stands, I'm not minding the look of that. 'Yeah, definitely getting up into potential resistance here once again. I do like that we're consolidating on top of this level back here, but I wouldn't really say, like, as far as this swing goes, yes, I suppose it was a lower high, just basically starting from here. But obviously, this was our low, this is our lower low, and this would be our lower high currently. So I would like to see the price get back above this yellow box here, flip it into support. That would be great to see. $30.7 incoming. I'll take it. That'd be a nice little trade. Nice little scalp. PS, love the four chart view on Alpha Exchange. I haven't been using that exchange near as much as I should. I've been using it on my PC a little bit, but a lot of times if I'm out of the house, I just trade on my phone or whatever. Well, no, whatever, just on my phone. So if I know, now someday I'm sure there's probably going to be an app. I'm sure they're on that, and I am going to use it all the time when that happens for sure. But I've been very impressed for the little bit of playing around I've done on my desktop. I'm loving it, and especially as a Canadian who, you know, our governments are all over being very hard on crypto exchanges, specifically more so even leverage exchanges. They're being real dicks about it. So, I mean, having a decentralized exchange and knowing the guy who's in charge of it and knowing he takes a lot of pride in his product, like, for example, just watching how good these indicators have got over the last year of using them, I assume that the Alpha Exchange is going to be very much the same. It's just going to keep getting better, and I'm excited for it. Bring up the 15. That, if I'm not mistaken, oh yeah. Yeah, you know, that would also... Here, let's go back to the 15. That would also give the 1 hour trend to catch up to the price. As you can see, we got this bearish cross here. The 1 hour trend is catching up toward, or just kind of coming down towards the price. That, obviously, in a few more candles, looks like it will line up with that supply zone. So that's just another little bit of confluence there to watch for. We don't need this level here anymore. The 1 minute did just print this potential top signal here. We're at a very small supply zone. Again, obviously take it for what it is. This is a 1 minute chart. But being that is what I entered this trade on, I'm tempted to update the stop loss to break even, just in case we drop back down into this box. And I am looking at it as kind of a scalp for now. No, I'm just gonna leave it for now. Actually, while we're here, you guys, this is a perfect example. I'm just laughing because as I'm playing the 1 minute here, this is one of those times where, you know, it was easy to catch a move to the upside, but I'm not locking in profits right now. So just to take heed in my own lesson here, I am going to just close a quarter of my position and just make sure that I at least reduce my risk, if nothing else. Exactly. Yeah, that's why, you know, for now, I'm updating my stop loss to break even right now, you guys, because I'm going to log off here, or at least start uploading here. So just to give you guys a quick rundown of what I'm doing here, I am going to update my stop loss to break even right now. I also just closed a quarter of my position, just treating it as a potential scalp. Hopefully the rest turns into a runner, but obviously we do have a strong downtrend, so I got to be ready for anything. If I do get stopped out on the rest, at least I've made a few bucks, and then I'm going to reassess and try and get into more longs in this green box. Basically, you guys know my opinion. Until we change the structure of this chart and actually close candles below this green box, I'm going to remain bullish until that structure changes. So I'm going to continue, especially while we're trading near this support, I'm going to keep trying to get into a nice long position that starts as a scalp and hopefully turns into a runner. So that's basically my game plan right now. Other than that, like I said, I think I'm going to start uploading this. It will be uploaded to my YouTube channel as well. Also, sometimes I don't have time to make videos and I just post some analysis on Twitter as well. StuTube Trading, all one word once again. So be sure to follow me at those two places. Just wanted to take a look at the legend board. This is another thing, you guys, for those of you who are members, maybe you're not aware of this yet. Or those of you thinking about joining, just here's another fun little game that MDX puts on. It's basically a fantasy portfolio league called the Legend Board. You just basically pick a few altcoins and you see who ends up getting the most percentages. It's free to do for members, and you can win actual money paid to you in crypto. So just a very cool bonus towards being a member. I mean, this can easily, depending how you play your cards, you can pay for your membership and then more by just by doing this. So something to keep in mind there. But anyways, friends, obviously none of this has been financial advice. Always do your own research to form your own opinions. But if you are watching this stream a little later on my YouTube channel and you appreciated this video and being a part of it, please do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. And if you do want to be a part of these live streams and other live coaching events in MDX Crypto's VIP Discord, as well as having access to my favorite indicators I use every day on TradingView, there is a 15% discount referral link down below to join. And with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.